There were two headlines coming out of yesterday's appeal result in the Myles Garrett case. If you're watching on TV, that's what sparked the indefinite suspension. There was an appeal on Tuesday. Ruling came on Wednesday, or actually Wednesday, and the ruling came on Thursday that Myles Garrett will be indefinitely suspended at a minimum for the remainder of the season, with his status evaluated after the season. And something I wrote last night, and we need to emphasize this, it was important for the NFL to have the ability to revisit Myles Garrett's status after the season, because the NFL needs to be sure that what happened last Thursday night will never happen again. Not just by anyone, but specifically by Myles Garrett. You can't put him back on the football field with other guys who ultimately could suffer the same outcome unless you're sure that it won't happen again. Whether that requires anger management, some form of counseling, whatever it takes, the NFL needs to devise a system for ensuring that this will not happen again. Because if it does happen again, you've got some moral responsibility to whoever would get hit over the head and possibly seriously injured, and you're going to have some legal responsibility. So there's every reason for the NFL to have that opportunity after the season to decide when, if, and under what circumstances Myles Garrett comes back. So it was the right outcome. It was a stern punishment with an open-ended future that allows the NFL to be 100% sure, because you can't take a risk here. You have somebody who has shown a propensity to cross a line that had never before been crossed during an NFL game. You have to be sure that when you put that guy back out on the field, he won't react under similar circumstances the same way. Now, why did he do what he did? That's something that Myles Garrett apparently did not want to have ultimately come out, and I'm not sure why. Because it was reported yesterday that Mason Rudolph uttered a racial slur, and that is what sparked the confrontation. Now, it's not clear that Mason Rudolph did. It's what Myles Garrett has claimed. The NFL says it's found no evidence of it. Well, no objective proof of it. I mean, there is evidence of it. Myles Garrett says it happened. And Mason Rudolph vehemently denies it through people other than Mason Rudolph. Rudolph's attorney says it's a shameful accusation. The team, through Burt Lawton, the spokesman, said that Mason vehemently denies the report of being accused of using a racial slur during the incident Thursday night in Cleveland. He will not discuss this accusation any further. See, I have two concerns with this, and I don't know what happened. But from Rudolph's perspective, if you're that certain that you didn't do this, you can't take the position you're not going to discuss it. He hasn't discussed it at all. Let him be grilled. Let him be questioned the same way any player is questioned about anything that happens on the field. The idea that you're not going to talk about it, the next time he's available to the media, do you think they're not going to ask him about it? I'd like to think they will. I want to hear him deny it. And if he's innocent, I want to hear the indignation in his voice. How dare he accuse me of doing something like that? Not only does he hit me over the head with my own helmet, he accuses me of saying something I never said. Now, my other concern, Myles Garrett, the night of the incident, you're at your locker. There's been no opportunity to be managed, wrangled, to have your words finagled or massaged. Look, if you were mad enough in the moment to remove Mason Rudolph's helmet and hit him over the head with it, I'd like to think you're still mad enough 15 minutes later to say, that guy used a racial slur. I overreacted, but he used a racial slur. So I don't know what to believe here. I've got concerns on both sides. I'm skeptical because we didn't hear anything about this until Thursday, a week later. And I'm skeptical because Mason Rudolph won't face the music and talk about it. If you didn't do it, why won't you talk about it? Garrett issued a statement after the news came out of his claim that a racial slur was uttered. This was not meant for public dissemination, nor was it a convenient attempt to justify my actions or restore my image in the eyes of those I disappointed. I know what I heard. Whether my opponent's comment was born out of frustration or ignorance, I cannot say, but his actions do not excuse my lack of restraint in the moment, and I truly regret the impact this had on the league, the Browns, and our devoted fans. And look, here's the thing. If it was said, it's inexcusable, but the reaction was even more inexcusable. Plenty of ugly, nasty things get said all the time on a football field. Some of them aren't grossly inappropriate. Some of them are. I'm not excusing it, but we have seen NFL games played and we've heard stories of horrible things said and horrible things done at the bottom of the pile for years. Nothing has ever provoked someone to remove an opponent's helmet and hit him over the head with it. So it clearly was an overreaction. And as I said earlier, I wish this would have come. There's nothing. Myles Garrett did nothing wrong as it relates to what was said to him. Yes, he clearly did something wrong afterward. But if there was some sort of provocation, you got to share that. You got to let that be known so we can properly assess the situation. Again, doesn't make what he did right, but at least we'd have a better understanding as to why he blew a gasket the way he did. We're going to talk more about this with Tony Grossi of ESPN Cleveland later in the hour. Want to get some of the local reaction, because I'll tell you what, there's some folks in Cleveland who are defending Myles Garrett far more aggressively than I thought they would.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.